Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to be taking a close look at a truly fascinating and, honestly, pretty heartbreaking piece of literature, Vikram Seth's famous poem, The Frog and the Nightingale. We're going to tackle this in two phases. First up, we'll immerse ourselves in the psychological drama of the fable itself. You know, that classic story of naive talent meeting ruthless opportunism. Then, once we've really unpacked that emotional core, we'll pivot. We'll put on our analytical hats and decode the actual literary mechanics the author used to pull it all off. It's basically a masterclass in storytelling, so let's just jump right in.
Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The Mozart in disguise. 2. The grueling masterclass. 3. A tragic finale. 4. Decoding poetic devices. And finally, number 5, the core themes.
All right, Section 1, The Mozart in Disguise.
Let's kick things off with Act 1 of our story. This is that absolutely crucial moment where the incredibly talented but tragically naive Nightingale first crosses paths with the cunning, highly opportunistic frog. And wow, just look at the massive imbalance in how these two perceive each other. The Nightingale, who is an artist with genuine, raw talent, looks at this loud, overbearing frog and actually breathes, "And your Mozart in disguise come to earth before my eyes." I mean, she literally elevates him to the level of a sheer genius simply because he speaks with this unwarranted authority. And the frog? Oh, he immediately capitalizes on her admiration. The text shows her flushed with confidence, fired up with both art and adoration. She becomes a huge sensation in the bog. But the problem is, her success is completely intertwined with her misplaced faith in him.
And right here, this is where the trap just snaps shut. Look at the frog's manipulative language. "Well, I charge a modest fee." Oh. But it won't hurt, you'll see. The guy doesn't have an ounce of her musical ability, but he clearly has a master's degree in exploitation. He's subtly trapping this confident, aspiring artist by turning her passion into a purely financial transaction that only benefits him. That phrase, "it won't hurt, you'll see," that is classic manipulator speak, completely downplaying the massive control he's establishing over her art.
Moving on to Part 2, the grueling masterclass.
Okay, this is where the story takes a really dark turn as the frog's so-called vocal training begins. Just look at the sheer cruelty of this regimen. The very next morning, it's pouring rain. The Nightingale sensibly says, "But I can't sing in this weather." But the frog, he completely steamrolls her boundaries. "Come, my dear, we'll sing together." He literally forces her to journey up and down the vocal scale for 6 solid hours. Imagine the physical toll of that. By the end of the session, the text tells us she was shivering, and her voice was hoarse and quivering. He is breaking her down physically under the guise of mentorship, all while barking his own awful sounds, coo-oh-ah, ko-osh, as if that is somehow helping her.
But despite the total exhaustion, the Nightingale's innate talent still shines through. A breathless, titled crowd gathers at the sumac tree to hear her. And look at this VIP roster: the Owl of Sandwich, Duck of Kent, Mallard, and Milady Trent. It's high society flocking to a spectacle. But notice the frog's reaction here. As the ladies with tiaras sit twittering in the interval, the frog observes them with a joy that is both sweet and bitter. It's sweet because, hey, he's counting heads, charging admission, and making money hand over fist. But it's bitter because he knows they are definitely not there for him. He is intensely jealous of the exact talent he's exploiting.
So how does he respond to that bitterness? He doubles down on his control. He constantly scolds her, demanding she add more trills and give the audience something sharper, snappier. He's treating her art like a cheap commodity, and the emotional weapon he uses to keep her in line? Debt. "You still owe me 60 shillings, he reminds her. The result is heartbreakingly clear. Day by day, the Nightingale grew more sorrowful and pale. He is literally draining the life out of her, pushing her way past her physical and emotional breaking point.
Which brings us to Section 3, a tragic finale.
We are arriving at the story's climax now, and what we see is a devastating psychological contrast. As the Nightingale's voice grows uninspired and tired from all the abuse, the crowds stop coming. Now, the frog's entire focus is purely financial panic. The ticket office gross just crashed. But look at the Nightingale's focus. She isn't worried about the money. She's grown morose because her ears are now addicted to applause quite unrestricted. The frog didn't just ruin her voice. He completely wrecked her internal compass. She can no longer sing for the pure delight of it. She's become entirely dependent on the external validation that he first monetized and then destroyed. And right in her moment of absolute lowest confidence, the frog delivers his ultimate cruelty. Puffed up with rage, he screams at her, "Brainless bird, you're on the stage. Puff your lungs out with your passion."
Talk about a total lack of empathy. He's demanding she manufacture passion on command just to save his profit margins, completely ignoring the trembling, terrified creature standing right in front of him, blinded by tears.
Which leads us to the tragic conclusion. Straining to meet his impossible, cruel demands, she puffs up, bursts a vein, and dies. It's such a shocking, sudden end. And the frog's reaction? He coldly blames her. I tried to teach her, but she was a stupid creature, far too prone to influence. Zero responsibility taken. And with his only competition dead, the foghorn of the frog returns to blare unrivaled through the bog. The exploiter wins, simply because he was louder and much, much more ruthless.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, Decoding Poetic Devices.
Okay, having absorbed that absolute emotional gut punch, let's pivot sharply from the narrative and do an analytical breakdown of how Vikram Seth actually crafted this tragedy. Let's look under the hood. Seth uses several core literary mechanics to give the poem its rhythm and impact. For starters, he uses a very strict AABBCC couplet rhyme scheme. This gives the poem a deceptive, almost nursery rhyme, fable-like quality that contrasts so sharply with the dark theme. He uses alliteration like he began her to drive the meter, and incredibly effective repetition and onomatopoeia with the frog's jarring "ko-ash, ko-ash," which constantly interrupts the musicality of the text. We also see antithesis, words like up and down, to show those exhausting vocal scales, alongside vivid imagery, painting pictures of high society ladies with glittering tiaras to build out the world of the bog.
And this brilliantly illustrates one of Seth's cleverest tools, illusion. Basically, an illusion is a clever reference to a well-known person, place, or historical event. When Seth lists the high society animals flocking to the concert, he isn't just making up random names. The Owl of Sandwich is a direct humorous nod to the real-life Earl of Sandwich. The Duck of Kent is a play on the Duke of Kent. By blending the animal kingdom with the titles of British nobility, Seth adds this awesome layer of sharp satire, mocking the fickle, elitist nature of audiences who consume art just to be seen at the right social events.
Finally, Section 5, the core themes. Let's bring this explainer into its concluding phase. We've read the story, we've checked the poetic mechanics, but what is the so what? What are the primary takeaways the author actually wants us to grasp? Because these aren't just literary notes, they are profound life lessons drawn straight from the tragic missteps of the Nightingale.
Let's walk through them. Step 1, have faith and confidence in yourself. The Nightingale had the talent, right? But she lacked the internal confidence to own it. Because she didn't believe in herself, she outsourced her self-worth to a critic who absolutely did not have her best interests at heart. Step 2, beware of manipulation, exploitation, and societal pressure. The frog is a textbook manipulator, using debt, exhaustion, and guilt to control her, while the societal pressure of that titled crowd forced her to perform rather than create. And step 3, do not get flattered by anybody. The Nightingale lost her way the exact second she believed the frog's false framing and started relying on the unrestricted applause of the crowd. So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to turn the theme of this poem outward to you. The tragedy of the Nightingale wasn't just that she met a bad frog, it's that she let the frog dictate her worth. It forces us to ask a really uncomfortable but completely necessary question in our own lives, our careers and our passions. Are you listening to your own voice, or have you handed the microphone over to a frog in disguise? Think about who is setting your tempo today. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you next time.